We are ready to start. Federico, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Federico. And thank you for everyone to be here connected to this bootcamp facilitated by the Young American Business Trust on the frame of the America's Talent and Innovation Competition. I'm very happy to be with you today. My name is Rosario. I'm the Eco Challenge Coordinator. And I am very glad for being with you all here, and I also want to thank everyone or the people who apply and presented their initiatives to the Startup Challenge, to the Eco Reto or Eco Challenge 10.0, and to the Caribbean Innovation Competition 2019. It's important to mention that we added a new category, the TIC Colombia. So if you have a friend in Colombia or if you are in Colombia, well, don't miss this chance to apply. And it's important to mention as well that we have the support of the American States Organization for this bootcamp. The topic that we are gonna talk today is about crowdfunding, an opportunity more than a challenge. And we have a great expert who's gonna join us today. Let me introduce you to him. We have Federico Arellano. He is the CEO of mycochinita.com. He's a social entrepreneur, lawyer, and economist. Besides being an actor, Fede tried to sell guitars, publish a magazine, artwork, and make law studies. He failed at everything. However, he soon gave a result, micochinito.com, an online piggy bank that has received more than 300 projects and reaches more than 7,000 students in workshops and conferences. Fede, as he is known, has been named Entrepreneur of the Month by the Young American Business Trust in 2014. He also was a speaker at the YABT conference of 2015, and he was an exhibitor at the Web Summit Dublin 2014 and in Lisboa in 2016. He was the first winner of the Mexican edition of the Facebook Special Award in 2018, and in 2019 he co-founded Colmena 41, an organization committed to inspire other LGBT entrepreneurs in Mexico. Fede, you are super welcome to this webinar. Do you want to manage your own presentation so I can give you the control on the menu?
Yes, please.
Awesome. So there you go. Now you are able to present your screen. You just need to push I accept. Awesome. We see you.
Okay, great. So.
Oh, by the time Federico is getting ready for his presentation, don't forget if you have any questions, you have three channels where you can ask them. You can first raise your hand using the hand little button, so we can activate the microphone on your end. You also have the chat box where you can ask some questions to the whole audience or to specific people, and also you have the question box where we are going to be reading your questions during the presentation. Thank you very much. Federico, now I give you the floor.
Thank you, Rosario. Thank you for everyone to be here. I am very glad to be here and to share this experience with you guys. As my short bio said, I am very close in spirit, and sometimes I get to visit them to the Young Americans Business Trust. I didn't actually have the chance to participate in the Ecoreto or the TIC Americas Challenge. However, I was part of another program there, so I have a very strong feelings for the organization. So I am very happy to be here with you guys. I can give testimony that participating in these competitions and participate in this type of boot camps would be like life-changing and very useful for you guys, and will give you a lifetime experience. So I hope you enjoy this bootcamp. Okay, where we're going to talk about crowdfunding. the name of the bootcamp, it's crowdfunding more than a challenge, an opportunity. So yeah, we would focus on this, and we would focus on things like why is crowdfunding useful for my organization? Um, how much money can I ask for it? Who do I ask the money to? And a lot of interesting questions that would be very useful for your entrepreneurship. So first of all, I want to start by giving you like a little definition on what crowdfunding is. So you probably know, you probably don't know, but what we do, it's we run a platform. So here's the platform. So where people who need funds actually get to connect to the community in order to give this type of funds. Um, Crowdfunding, it's about the funding, but most important, it's about the crowd. So um, we would run a platform that will help entrepreneurs like you guys to get a lot of multiple small amounts of donations. Okay, all of them made them online. So this technological tool will be very helpful in order to um, actually viralize the initiative to make everyone aware of what you're doing, and that would give you a lot of visibility. And visibility in terms of entrepreneurship can also be called validation, because validation would give enormous information for you guys if you're running a new idea. So the first thing that we need to know, and this graph would be very useful all along the way on our webinar, it's that we need to know that this graph, it's called the J of the entrepreneurship. So this could be a letter J, right? So entrepreneurs would have three different phases in their lives. Okay, so the first phase we'll call it startup, the second one scale up, and at the end a company. Okay, this is like literature. This names could be any other, but literature pretty much name them like this. So we're gonna take these names for it. So in the first phase, when you have an idea and here's money, right? And here's time. So when you have a fresh idea and you have a little money because you have saved and everything, you could be pretty much at this point. So time zero and a little positive money. So I don't know if this has happened to you, but at the time when time starts ticking, so the you will run out of money, you will start losing money, you will spend money in things, let's say like coffee shops when you're talking to your friends about the idea, or in things such as prototypes, right? So this money could be used in many different things, but you will start losing them. So you keep losing and losing money, and you keep doing something else that is way more important than actually losing the money. That thing that you're doing is that you are actually, oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. So and you can see my computer as well, my screen as well, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So as I was telling you before, sorry for the inconveniences. My computer just frozen. I don't know what happened, but it's nice to be back. So as I was telling you before, we're just starting with the with this bootcamp. So I was telling the people that were here that this graph would be great because will help us to understand where, when, and how can we use crowdfunding. So as I was telling, if we have the two axes in this graph, in here we have the money and in here we have the time. So when we're starting our project, we have a little money and time hasn't passed yet. So at first we would spend some money, I don't know, in the coffee shop where we meet with our colleagues. We would spend money probably, I don't know, in a computer or in our prototypes, right? So we start spending money. And in this process of spending money and of losing money, what would be positive about this is that we would learn how to have a real project, right? So it's normal that many entrepreneurs start a project and ended up doing something very different. Okay, so This actually even have a name, right? And the name of this is pivot. So once you have an idea, this idea may pivot and turn into something different. This process, of course, needs money, and your idea would change. At this point, we will notice that we have a clear idea, okay, that we won't pivot anymore, and that we have our first customer. This first customer would be the first wouldn't be the first customer at all, would probably be like the first customer that actually came back to us for a second time, right? Or could be our customer number 2 or our customer number 3. These very first customers would give us the news that we have a complete project, that our project it's a project and it's not an idea anymore. Here is an idea, here is a project. So once we have a project and we have 2 or 3 clients, 2 or 3 customers, we need to have way more customers than that. At this point, we would start a process called scaling up, right? When we scale, what said in other words, it's that we would need to sell more, to see who can we join to in order to help us selling more and more of our product. Okay, notice that even when we're scaling, we won't be profitable, right? We wouldn't be profitable until this point happens. So at this point, we still are losing money. We won't lose as much money as we're losing here, because as you can see, the inclination it's different, right? So uh, but we would lose money anyway. Once we get to the break-even point, okay, we will start another phase that we will call company. We would call it company not because in here we won't have a company. We would have this name just because of financial matters. The financial matter that we will have there would be that we can actually predict how much we're gonna sell. Okay, that's the difference. In here, we cannot even predict what we're selling. We're changing a lot. We're making pivots, right? In here, we can predict what we're gonna sell, but we cannot predict how much we're gonna sell. Okay? Of course, this graph, it's just academic. The real graph would look like whoop, 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 up, down, right? It's not as smooth and as nice as this. It's changed a lot. And in this phase, we can predict what we're going to sell, and we can predict in how much money we're going to sell, right? So we can have many different um, financial responsibilities depending on every one of the points that we're at, right? So this bootcamp, it's about crowdfunding. So when are we going to use crowdfunding? When do you recommend us to use crowdfunding? So we can use crowdfunding especially in this point, right? We can use crowdfunding in this point and in this point, because as I said before to you, crowdfunding will help us to get money, okay, but will also help us to validate some new products. So here it will be very helpful as well. So um, why can't we use crowdfunding at the scale up phase? Well, in the scale up phase, the main target is to sell more and more and more, to sell like crazy, right? To get new customers in the fastest rate as possible. So if that's the point, crowdfunding wouldn't be as helpful as getting something different in the world of finance that would be called smart money. Why smart money? Because you don't need only the funds. You need also yes, of course, the funds, but also you need some partners, some business partners that can give you customers, right? In here, customers are way more valuable than money itself. So in here, money itself is very valuable. So in there, you can use crowdfunding, right? In this type, in the company phase, you can use crowdfunding. Let's say if you run a restaurant and you want to sell, to expand your place, and you want to buy next door's local, or if you want to launch a new product, right? Let's say you have a coffee shop and you want to launch, I don't know, carrot cakes. Okay, so crowdfunding can help you because it will make you notice. Since it's a platform based on social networks and social media, then of course that will be very helpful for that in the company phase. But today we're going to focus on the scale of phase, sorry. So how can we use crowdfunding at this early stage startup company, right? So we can use this crowdfunding in this phase because, as I said before, it will help us with the money, but most important, it will help us to validate our idea. So, having said so, what is crowdfunding? What is a crowdfunding platform? Well, we can have Micochinito, that it's the coolest platform on earth, but we can have also another platforms such as Kickstarter or as Indiegogo, right? These platforms have the particularity that they would help us. They are called reward-based crowdfunding because they would help us to finance our idea, to fund our idea, but it will force us to also give something back to the people that are donating to us. If we give something back, this that we're giving back could be our product, could be our idea, could be those type of things that will help us understand if the market actually wants the thing we're doing, right? So a typical crowdfunding campaign would be this designer that it's starting their company of jewelry or starting their company of I don't know, t-shirts. So it could he could join one of these platforms, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Micochinito. That Micochinito, actually, the name in Spanish stands for my piggy bank in English. So cochinito would be like a little pig. So, anyways, um, these platforms are going to force us to give something back to our donors. That's the main difference of that. If you are scientific entrepreneurs and you want to launch, let's say, your prototype, okay, that could help us as well, because in this phase, crowdfunding platforms will make sure that you can use the money for whatever you need to, okay? So of course you need to be honest, of course you need to use the money in your project, but in this type of platforms, in difference to the financial platforms that we will not talk about those today, sorry. This non-financial would help us, would be actually very helpful in order to split the word, to split the idea, and won't force us to actually start a business, right? So it would be very normal that if you join a crowdfunding platform in order to get a prototype and your prototype doesn't work, okay, you actually have to inform your donors that your prototype didn't work, but your donors will be okay with that, okay? So don't feel forced for that. Remember, always remember that crowdfunding would be designed in order to fit with this entrepreneurship model. So anyways, Micochinito, the coolest platform on earth, would ask you some things in order to plan a campaign. Okay, so first of all, you will need a team. If you want to launch our idea on a crowdfunding platform, you can decide either to go alone or to have a team. It's not okay to be alone. Okay, you can have like different model of business, different business model, or your idea could be conceived by different things or under different circumstances, right? But you need to first be very aware of who are you working with, okay? And you need to make like a team back in order to say, okay, we want to make a crowdfunding platform, we need the money, and we need to validate our idea. So with this team, you're gonna do many different things. In here, we have this chart. Don't. Here says team in Spanish. So in this chart, we would have the name of the people that we're working with, their job, and their job description, right? So if we are one person, if we are two persons, three persons, or 100 persons at the crowdfunding platform, all of those people would have to do different things, would have to play roles, and would have to be at different jobs, okay? So we would recommend that every team has someone to actually works with the platform. That we call platform affairs, right? So uh, this person can actually be like the technical responsible in order to actually I don't know, talk to the platform if something is not going very well, explain to the donors how to use the platform, how to actually make any donation. The second thing would be reward affairs. So as I said before, in crowdfunding, you need to give something back. So this person has to plan what to give back. Sometimes it's very like very natural to give back what you're actually trying to produce. But some others won't be that natural, and this person has to be very, very creative. We will talk about the rewards later, but to have something in charge of that, that can be very good, okay? This person can also think about logistics. How are we going to distribute those things that we are planning on giving? The next thing that would be important in our team to have, it's communications, video and events. Okay. mm, we're going to talk about this later as well, but uh, personal events taking in real venues and not only digitally, um, are going to be very helpful for your campaign as well, right? So this people can actually organize like a karaoke night where you're going to talk about your project, or can organize I don't know, like a charity event, like I don't know, like a dinner or like something very interesting. I don't know if you guys know Dinner in the Dark, but some very interesting reward that was made by some of our uh, crowdfunding people was a dinner that was taking place at a complete dark spot. So you pay in order to go there. That money goes to your crowdfunding campaign, okay? And you live the experience of having dinner as if you are not able to see. So that was an event, and that was very popular and very cool in order to be used and in order to promote donations to your campaign. And lastly, social media. As I said before, since crowdfunding happens on the internet, having social media being taken care of, it's very, very important. So at this point, you need to have a time schedule where you're gonna plan like all of the things you're gonna publish, and of course the content. We will talk about this later. But team would be very, very important for your crowdfunding campaign. If you don't have a team, okay, that doesn't matter. You can work by yourself, but you will need to do all of these different things. Okay. Um, Secondly, the donors. Who are gonna donate to your campaign? Okay. So at this point about the team, does anybody of you has any doubt? Has someone written something yet? Rosario? Okay. I think no, but
Hi,
uh,
Federico. No, we don't have any questions or comments on the chat box yet.
okay,
Sorry,
great.
I just mute myself so I don't interrupt.
No, 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 it's fine. Um, so let's keep going. The second thing about crowdfunding that would be very, very important is your donors. So in terms of your donors, you need to know who is gonna donate to you. In order to do so, you need to create a database. um, it's regular that when you run a crowdfunding campaign, like 80% of your donations would end up coming from your closest circle, right? Your friends, your classmates, your family. Probably not your close family, but probably the family that lives in some other country or things like that. So international donations would be something very common as well. So in order to do all of this, you need to create a database. This database will contain the name, okay, who's donating to you, how trustful you are to these people. If you know him but not so closely, then the trust would be number one. If it's very close to you, the trust would be number five, right? What is the occupation? Is it a student? Is it a designer? Is it a professional? Is it a grandmother, right? That would change as well. And finally, how are you going to contact it? Are you going to contact through WhatsApp, through Facebook, or what are you going to do in order to actually get in touch with them, right? So this database will be very important. That would be the second most important things to do once you have your team. Okay. So first you have your team. Second, you need to plan your database in order to of who you think they are gonna donate to you. So once you have that, you're gonna have like a closest idea on how much money to ask on a crowdfunding campaign. We're gonna talk about the money later, okay? But these two things, to have a meeting with your team and to be aware of how many people are close to you, those are gonna give a very nice idea of what to do in your campaign. So finally, once you have done that, you're gonna enter to www.micochinito.com or to Kickstarter or to Indiegogo, and you're gonna start creating a campaign. The platform, in order to create your campaign, is gonna ask you for different information. The first information that a platform is gonna ask to you, it's this: share your personal story. Okay, so as we said before, our J of the entrepreneur, that it's this, okay? In here, as I also said before, the idea would be changing and would be changing rapidly. So your idea, it's not the most important thing to share on your crowdfunding campaign. The most important thing to share would be this: your personal story. So tell us about you. Tell us about your project and your motivations. Motivations are going to be very, very important. Tell us about your rewards and about the money and how are you going to use the money for. Always remember the first graph, okay? So donors would help you because of you. Not your idea, it's fine. um, the rewards are fine as well, but about you and your story, it's very important to do so. So if you're a scientific entrepreneur and you need the money for a prototype, well, don't worry about it too much if the prototype doesn't come up as you were expecting to. But please, in this phase, set what are you gonna use it for. Okay, so what I mean is, you can say that it's in a phase that it's improved. You can also say that the money you're going to use it to travel, that the money you're going to use it to go to, I don't know, to a event, to go to a fair, whatever it is, but say it, okay? Don't say, oh, I am super nice and I am super stable as a company, not as an entrepreneur, so I know perfectly what's going to come up, and in the end you end up lying. So don't do that, okay? Share your story and be very true and very honest. That's the first thing. Once you have accomplished your personal story, another key element would be the time. The platform, it's going to ask you for how long do you want to have your campaign online, okay? We don't recommend very long campaigns. Let's say that uh, a 30-day campaign, it's okay, because a month, it's like, I don't know, like a very standard time, so that people won't get bored because you keep saying that you have a project, and also you give time to those who receive their late paychecks or things like that, right? So when you propose a time, try to propose a time not too long. 60 days, for me, it's too long. 15 days, for me, it's too short, right? 30 days, 40 days are fine in order to raise like a regular, nice, strong crowdfunding campaign. So also notice that this time won't be idea of the platform. You are going to be the one who actually propose how many time do you need. Okay, so don't feel pushed. It's fine and it's nice, and you get to propose. We're all friends in crowdfunding. Um, Once you have decided your time, then I strongly recommend you to actually make a schedule, okay? Plan your activities. So how are you gonna plan your activities? What are you gonna write in your schedule? So in your schedule, you need to write three things. The first thing you need to write is those events that would be happening personally, that would be happening in person and not virtually, right? If you're doing a fair, if you're doing a dinner, if you're doing a party, okay? Those have to be in your schedule. That's personal, okay? This schedule won't happen in your crowdfunding platform. That will happen only in your imagination and in your team activities. The second type of activity you need to plan on your schedule It's your social network calendar. When are you going to post? What are you going to post? All of this related to social media has to be on your calendar. And finally, you need to place some standards in money that you need to be raising. Okay, you can say, for example, okay, once I have accomplished my first week of campaign, I need to have in my campaign at least 30% of the goal, or at least $500. Okay, you need to get these standards so you can notice if you're doing okay or if you're doing it wrong. Okay. Um, and finally, how much money you need to ask for. Okay. So in this money that you would need to ask, it's sorry that it's in Spanish, but I will translate it all. Okay. So how much money do you need to ask for on a campaign? As I said before, as I said in here, uh, when you get to plan your donors and who is going to donate, now in this stage, we need to know how much are they going to be donating to you. So a nice formula would be this. How many people you know that comes from your family? Okay, let's say 15 people, sorry, come from your family. Your friends and your neighbors, let's say 20 people. Classmates or colleagues for work, let's say 10 people. Social media, you have 50 Facebook friends. So in total, it will make 95. So 95, you need to multiply it by 0.05. That would be the 5%. We have calculated that pretty much of your closest circle, only 5% of those actually donate. So that will make this number, and you can multiply this number, that it's 4.7 in this case, and you're gonna multiply it by, I don't know, the amount that you could find like standard. That could vary from country to country, but let's say $50, $25. Okay, so that would make the quantity, that would make the amount of money that you would need to ask. Of course, you need positive vibes as well. Okay, so once you're running a crowdfunding campaign, you can think of as if you're running for major of your country, of your community. Sorry. Okay, so what does running for major means? You need to be friends with everyone. You need to actually like answer any doubt that people may have. Okay, so you need to be very, very positive and be very, very aware of it. So you need to have planned rewards as well. As I said before, what are you going to give to these people once they donate to you? What are going to be the delivery logistics, and how are this type of product are going to be planned and designed? Okay, you need to be very, very smart when you plan your rewards, because you need to think of it as ideas that won't be very expensive for you. Okay, what do I mean? For example, if you think that your let's say someone donates to you, I don't know, $5. $5 probably is not a lot of money for a product, right? So you can set like and a special greeting on your social networks. Okay, if the donor actually donated you, I don't know, $20 or $15, but you have restaurant, then maybe the reward that won't cost you would be that in that restaurant you can paint a wall and you can say, okay, this restaurant was financed by blah 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 blah, and you write down the names. Okay, so that won't be very, very expensive as well, but could make your donor actually happy, right? So planning this type of rewards can be very, very helpful in order to don't spend a lot of money and actually have the chance to make you earn like a larger percentage of the money you will be receiving. And finally, a video. In this video, as I said before, you're gonna share your story, your motivation, and even so, you can share your prototype, okay? If you're concerned about copyright and this type of legal affairs, please don't be, okay? You can feel comfortable of sharing only what you need, only what you have to, and don't feel very, 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 very bad about it, right? So that these things could be the ones, could be the projects or the things that can actually help you with your campaign. So far, so good. Do we have any type of problem? I would strongly recommend you to post a question, post a greeting, say hi to me. If you're not understanding anything, if my English is fine, okay. How are we on comments, Rosario?
Hi, Federico. We don't have any comments yet, but maybe we can raise some of the questions we have in the previous bootcamp. For example, someone made a question regarding how much how much money you can get with these crowdfunding campaigns, and what happened if my crowdfunding campaign is set up in a country that has a different currency. Who has to pay those charges? Like, are the entrepreneurs who have to who has to pay the exchange this exchange fees, or are you guys, or who does pay that?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. The business model on crowdfunding platforms depend especially um, on the type of payment method that can be used. Some crowdfunding platform even use blockchain, okay, and that of course the transaction fees even internationally would be zero. If you use PayPal, the transaction fee from country to country won't be charged to you as an entrepreneur, but will be charged to your donor, okay. The fee that will be charged would be around 12 or 15%, okay, and would be directly paid by him. So if he wants to help you with $10, then the card bill would end up like costing the 15 or 16 dollars. Okay, so this sorry, if it's $10, then it would be 11.5 dollars, right? So not 50%, 15%. So it would be marginal. It would be very small. What would happen if you use an international platform that you're in a country and you need to transfer the money to other country, and you don't have a PayPal account? What would happen is that we will charge you, but we will charge you something around $15, okay, in order to that it's the cost of the financial transaction, right? So it's not that expensive, and it's not that complicated. Especially in our platform in micochinito.com, the thing and the money would come up uh, as you see it on the screen, okay. If you see that your campaign has raised $10, $20, $100, that is the money you're actually receiving in your account, okay. So no extra fees would be charged to you as an entrepreneur. That it's very interesting to say as well, okay. In order of once you have your campaign, how much money can you ask for? Well, that would be depending on many different things, okay. But in Micochinito, we have raised campaigns of over $100,000, okay. That was our largest one. That would be a little more than a million and a half pesos, okay, Mexican pesos. And the shortest campaign that we have had, it's $300, okay. So very small and very big ones as well. We have received projects from Mexico, from Colombia, from Ecuador, and we have received money pretty much from everywhere in the world. So if you're interested, you can actually join and visit the website. So any other question, any other comment, Rosario?
Hi, Federico. We don't have any more questions on the chat box or on the question box. But well, I have one more question for you. What would be like the key tip that you could give us on the session for people who started with this crowdfunding campaign or strategies in order to scale up their entrepreneurial ideas? projects.
Okay, so uh, these key elements that you need to take with you if you're starting a business, it's this. First of all, crowdfunding would be a huge tool for you, okay? And this tool would be financial, but also, and most importantly, it's a tool for validation, okay? Don't forget this word, validating. That's like super important, first of all. Second of all, teamwork and how to use your social network can be very important as well. So it would be like a test to like a popularity test, right? Like if you're on a in a beauty pageant or things like that, that would be your crowdfunding campaign for you. Money, it's of course very important, but what you need to use crowdfunding for, it's for this two type of things. Validation, it's very important. And something else that we're over the time now that I would like to say in this last minutes, it's that after your campaign, okay, as I said before, the crowdfunding is about being honest and about showing yourself how you truly are. You need to honor your word. Okay, so crowdfunding is based mostly on trust and the trust of people. Of course, there is regulation that needs to be taken in charge. Of course, there is other type of legal aspects, but trust and honoring your word, it's very important if you want to have a successful crowdfunding campaign. So once you finish, let your people know what happened to your project, even if it worked or if it didn't. Please let your people know and honor your word. This means give back your rewards and well, pretty much do everything that it needs in order to let them be aware and let them go with you in this project. Let them go with you as we can go back into our graph, right? The J of the entrepreneur. So be very close to your donors and let them transit with you from this early stage to these stages and later with this, since they are your closest circle, sorry. I am very sure that they will appreciate your communication. So once you finish your campaign, keep up with the good work and keep up with the communications. Those would be the key aspects of the platform and of crowdfunding itself. So don't be afraid, use it. It will be very helpful.
Okay, thank you, Federico. Thank you for this last message for this last tip. For us, it's super important that we as entrepreneurs can have these kind of trainings. You yourself are an entrepreneur, and knowing that these platforms are available in our region in order to raise funds for our entrepreneurial ideas, it's a very good news that give us a hope and make us think about crowdfunding in a different way, more like an opportunity rather than a chance, and rather than a challenge. Well, with this, I don't know if you have a final message in order to close the session. We are actually over time.
No, I would only like to thank the Young Americans Business Trust for this opportunity. Also thank all of our entrepreneur of the Americas that actually join us at this event. Thank you very much for being here. If you have any special doubt, my Twitter account, it's at Federellano. I already show it on screen. And well, thank you for that.
Thank you for being with us today and for giving or sharing with us all your experience on these great tools and tips that you are working with and many successes for mycochinito.com. With that, we are closing this bootcamp session. It's important to mention that this space is facilitated by the Young American Business Trust in collaboration with the American States Organization on the frame of the um, innovation of the TIC Americas 2019 talent and innovation competence. And also remember that the people who apply for the three categories On this edition, the Startup Challenge, Eco Challenge 10.0, and Caribbean Innovation Competition are not yet announced. This is an open webinar, an open bootcamp, and on May, you will be knowing who is these people that are going to be covered with a full scholarship to participate to the finals of the TIC Americas 2019 in Colombia, Medellin. With this, I just would like to share with you also, sorry, our social media if you want to know a little bit more about what the Young American Business Trust is doing. Just follow us or look to our website to www.yabt.net. Also, if you want to know more about the TIC Americas, about the competition, you can look up to the website on www.ticamericas.net or on the Eco Challenge website. If you have any specific questions about these programs and how you can participate, you can send us an email to edgar.maestre@yabt.net or rosario.garavito@yabt.net. If you want to know more about what we are doing, news, next bootcamps, and next initiatives or opportunities, follow us on our social media on Facebook and Twitter and on Flickr if you want to know a little bit more about the previous editions of the TIC Americas. If you are posting on internet, remember to use our hashtags TIC Americas and hashtag EcoReto or hashtag CIC. With that, I'm very happy to close this session and I thank you all for being here. And I also want to thank again Federico for being here. And I wish you guys keep growing and keep helping entrepreneurs to achieve their dreams and to scale up their entrepreneurial ideas. With that, I will say bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.